Hey again, this is video 5 of my egg donation journey. And this is a big one because I think there was 4 weeks that passed since I made my last update because there was a lot of time that I didn't know what was going on. um, I finished all of the medical screening and all the appointments and preliminary things that were involved in the application process. I will link those videos below if you are interested in hearing what it entails to become an egg donor. But this one is all about results and my feelings because after I got the blood work, I did the genetic testing, the medical screening, the psych evaluation. I had to get those results. And I knew that these tests were going to be thorough, but when I got back or when I got the email of the genetic testing results, I'm not going to lie, like my stomach sank because I found out that I am a carrier of a disease and it was a lot to process. Um, I didn't really think of me because one, I'm a carrier of it, so I'm assuming one of my parents were and one was not, or there is a possibility that I might develop this later in life. But I wasn't even thinking about me. I was thinking of my son and my future children. And part of me really wants to get my husband tested to see if he will be a carrier, but that's not what this video is going to be about. So, per protocol, I had to have a genetic consult with a doctor talking about, more about the results and, next steps and really just details behind what everything was. And I just had to really process all of that. And that's why I didn't make a video right away because I wasn't really sure what to say. But that's just the thing. Like I just had to process it. And I know now, like it's out of my control. And the optimistic part of me, like out of hundreds of diseases that I was tested for, like I'm just a carrier for the one. And it was still, it's one of those things. Like I have a medical background, so I understand like what being a carrier means. And that just it doesn't take back like this was something that it's my life, right? So it was something that I really just had to process. And knowing now, like I probably would never have genetic testing done. So if I wasn't going through this process, I may have never known, and it may have never um, been something that I would even have to deal with in my life because let's just pray that my husband is not a carrier for this disease and we'll never have to cross that path again. So it was something that I had to accept. It's out of my control. And yeah, so there was that part. Everything else came back great. As far as, the psych eval, I didn't really hear too much about that, which I would have loved to hear, like what they jotted down on paper, right? But yeah, everything else came back great. And the thing with the genetic testing results, when I got that email, I instantly thought that I was, denied to become a part of the donation process. But that didn't disqualify me because now think about it, like the whole purpose of the genetic testing was to then, this future couple that will, or future person that chooses me, right, to become, or to be, to choose my eggs to conceive a child, they just will have to know that they're not a carrier for this disease. So that was that part. um, but through those 4 weeks that was kind of just like a waiting game, I got the results. I had the consult. I processed it all, and then I got the next email of acceptance. So I am accepted into to become an egg donor. Like I'm able to be a part of someone else's journey to conceive a family, and it is I was speechless, like my stomach sank when I got the email, and I feel like this video is going to be a lot of stuttering because I'm still processing a lot, and it's been a very draining journey. it's been very time consuming. It's been draining of my energy, and I can't even imagine people that struggle with infertility because it is such a mentally and emotionally draining journey. And all of my, all the draining on my end, it's all selfish, right? It's the selfish, the time that it's consuming, the energy, and everything. I had to dig deep for like my high school transcripts. So just like all of that stuff, it was very selfish, like the toll that it's taken on me, right? So that is why, I thought a couple times like I'm just gonna throw in the towel. And it was, when I think of, or then when I process like this is, that's a selfish reason, to stop this, this is a gift that you could give to someone else. This could help change someone's life. This could bring life into the world. And that is why I kept going. And so yeah, my apologies if I'm a little all over the place and stuttering, but this is why I wanted to create a video vlogging journey of this experience, because it is a lot, and this is a very um, real process. So when I found out that I was accepted, my stomach sank. I felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest. I'm not going to lie, I had fear of what was to come, the process, the injections, the appointments, right? It's there's a lot more to be done. Like that was just the application process. Now we have the actual donation and retrieval, and again a lot to process. So between the fear and anxiety, like I remember I got the email 9 days ago. Yeah, so 9 days ago I got the email, and I remember just like, all right, I have to go work out. Like I just had to relieve that emotion. So um yeah, like the biggest, like thinking now, like the biggest fear is, or I guess the biggest anxiety would be the schedule, because there's no flexibility. Like I'm someone, like I plan things out, and this is all based around my cycle, right? Like there's no flexibility. I can't go on a Wednesday when my son is in daycare, or go on the weekend when my husband is home. Like this is something that's very dependent on my cycle, and there's no flexibility. So my biggest anxiety piece right now is finding childcare and being like basically like on call, right? So again, it's something that's very selfish that I just have to get over, right? It's out of my control. Now we're just gonna go through this. So when I worked out and just to kind of relieve those emotions, and then I'll never forget this. I came upstairs from our workout. I say our because I take my son downstairs to work out with me. But we came back upstairs, and I saw my spiritual symbol. And this is something I've been on a spiritual journey the past couple of years, and that's what guided me to this process to begin with. And then I saw this after my workout, and I just felt calm, and I have ever since. So there's still a lot of emotions going on. That's why I'm like all over the place. But it's just a blessing. And now we just have to get through the retrieval. So next steps are, I have a final interview this coming week over the phone, and then my appointments at the clinic start. So I have to go in for like a treatment plan, and then injection training. And to my understanding, I could be wrong here. I will get the training soon. But to my understanding, I'm basically going through like an IV. If you've ever gone through IVF, or if you know that procedure, like I'm going to be going through like IVF protocol. Like I'm going to be giving myself injections, because ultimately I'm going to be injecting these hormones into me to help stimulate those eggs that I cite. Okay, so little background here. As a female, and you have your cycle every single month, when you ovulate, you release your egg, or possibly multiple eggs, but only, that one or two, or possibly three, or what have you, very minimal amount. However, you still form multiple eggs every single month. A lot of them just don't make it, and they just kind of disintegrate and, go away. So the purpose of the injection shots are to help all of those eggs mature. So then when they go in for the retrieval, they could gather as many eggs as possible. So again, this is my understanding prior to treatment or prior to the training. So I'm going to go in for the treatment plan and get the injection training. And again, this is very time sensitive. There's no flexibility here. So then I have a baseline visit based off of my cycle. I'm going to start birth control, again, just to kind of regulate that cycle down as closely as possible, time wise. And then I wrote down notes here. So then I'll go in for a baseline visit. And after that, once I start giving myself the injections, I go in like every other day for blood work, an ultrasound, a physical exam, and any paperwork that has to be filled out. But I'm being closely monitored, again, like this for my health and then for obviously the retrieval process. So this is a whole week of visits during that stimulation time. And while I'm giving myself these injections, I'll be going in every so often, and then, or every other day. And then that's when we'll figure out the date for the actual retrieval. So the egg retrieval will be a couple hour long procedure. I will be put under, so I will be needing a driver to drive me home. And yeah, just prayers for minimal to no side effects. And I'll have a follow-up visit after that. So that is what I know for now. It's already 11 minutes, so I wanted to keep this as short as possible, but there was a lot to update. So thank you guys so much for your support, for following along this journey. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am an open book. I am completely transparent. I said that from the very beginning. And if you did not watch, if you're just like watching this video, like, what are you doing? What's going on? I'll link the previous videos, the start process, the medical screening, and all that below also. So sending my love and light. This is definitely, it's been a journey, and it's going to become more and more beautiful. So thank you guys so much for following along, and thank you always for your support.